Alright guys, today we'll be learning on how to use ternary operator, and we'll also do some exercises with if else and switch case just to have a better understanding of the things. So let's begin without further ado. Alright, the first thing that we are going to learn is called ternary operator. Now, ternary operator is very interesting, it basically does the same job as if else, same as if else, but it is shorter. Shortcut. It is a shortcut method of if else, or you can also use if else you can do for if else. Okay, you can do these for these conditions. Now it basically looks like this. It has a question mark and it has a colon. This is called a ternary operator. Now ternary operator means ter stands for 3. Okay, it means it has 3 things. Okay, and I'll show you what. So assume you are writing a program to find which is the biggest number. Say we have 2 numbers. Okay, we have a number A, we have a number B. Okay, let's write that with a different color. We have a number B, and we are going to find which one is the max number, or just maximum number. So which one is greater than the other? Is A is the biggest, B is the biggest? So we are going to do that. So how are we going to do that? Using just if else. Using if else, it would be very simple. You would say if, and you will put the condition A more than B, right? So you would say max is equals to A. That means A is the biggest number, right? A is the biggest number. Else, because there is no other condition, either this is the biggest one or this is the biggest one. There is no third condition. So else, which one is the biggest number? B. This is a simple way you can find which one is the biggest number. Say A is, for example, maybe say 100 and B is 60. Now what would happen? If A more than B, is A more than B? Yes. So what is the maximum number? The maximum number is 100, right? Or for example, say maybe say X is 160 and let's say A is 10. What would happen then? A is more than B? No. Else max equals to B. So B is basically 160. So the answer would be 160. So this is how you would do it using if else. First line, second line, third line, and fourth line. So you basically need at least 4 lines, right? And then you would obviously print it as well. So another line, right? But using ternary operator, we can simplify this thing. Let me just remove the unnecessary examples here. So again, we have 3 variables, A, B, and max. Max will have the maximum value, right? So this is the if else approach, right? This is the if else approach. Now let's understand the ternary approach. In the ternary approach, you would write it like this: A more than B. Like you write the condition first. This is a condition, you write the condition first. Okay. A more than B. You put the question mark. Then you say if. So what this basically means? Okay, let me write. Then I'd say A, and then you put the colon over here, and then you say B. What does this mean? It means if this condition is true, then this will be the thing. If this condition is not true, then this will be the thing. Getting my point? So basically I am writing the same thing. I am saying if this is the case, then this will be returned. Otherwise, this is else. Okay, this colon means else. Okay, this is else, this is if. Getting the point? So basically I'm saying, if this is the condition, then you do this. If this is not the condition, this is else part, then you do this. So, and yeah, write the variable name where you want to put it. So let's say in this case we are going to do max, right? So max. So if you are going to write max is equals to, if a more than b, then what will have max? Max will have a. Otherwise max will have b. Otherwise max will have b. So this is basically if else, but in the short form. Hope you getting my point. Now I would demonstrate you using some examples. Just okay, hold on, just write this down. Okay, write this down, if and else part. Okay, so I'll write the syntax for your understanding. So the syntax looks like this. So first of all, there is a condition, the condition, then you have the question mark, then you have action 1, and then you have the else part, that is the colon, and then you have action 2. So you have the condition, then the if, then action 1, else, action 2. So what really happens? If this is true, then action 1 will happen. If this is not true, then action 2 will happen. So this is basically if and else. So this is how it works. Now let's go to the J shell and let's see what really happens. So I'll just hope this is visible to you. J shell and all right. So we have two variables. Let's say int a. We'll have something. Let's say int a is equals to 10. Okay, and we have int b. Int b has, let's say, 20. We have int max, and max has no value at the moment, so let's keep it 0. At the moment, right? So let's see what happens. So if a more than b, then I'm gonna do bracket max is equals to a. That means a is the biggest number. Else I'm gonna say max equals to b, and that's it. And then I print it out, right? Print system dot out dot println. Time to check what's the value of max right now. Is max a or b? Let's see. So max is equals to 20. So what will happen, you know, right? This is the biggest value. So that's what max is trying to show. If a more than b, that is not the case. A is 10, b is 20. This is false. Else, that is the part which get executed. Max is equals to b. So the value of max is definitely 20, right? That's great. But how many lines did it take? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 lines of code, right? What if I can do this in 2 or even 1 lines of code? Let's try this out using ternary operator. I'd say let's make max again 0. Okay, no issues. All right, let's start again. So if I say max is equals to the condition, what is the condition? A more than b. If this is true, then a will go into max. Otherwise, b will go into max. If I do this, do you see what's happening here? So this thing and this entire thing is basically the same way of doing the same thing. It's just that this is a little bit of shortcut method, and this is how ternary operator works. This is called ternary because there are 3 terms: first term, second term, and third term. So it operates on three things. That's why it is called ternary operator, right? And now you can again do the same thing, system.println max. So you are basically doing it in 2 lines, from 5 lines to 2 lines. You can even short it down. You can even short it down by without using max. Simple. Don't use max. Just you can just write system dot out dot println, and you can just say, write the entire condition, write the entire thing. You know what I mean? Write the entire thing into bracket. So let's write, or don't even put bracket. Let's see what really happens if I don't put bracket. So I'm going to write the same condition over here without using max, like the entire thing. Okay, let me just copy and paste this, save some time. Okay, even if I do this, what are you getting? You're getting 20. So without even using max, you can do this in only a single line. So what actually is happening within the print statement, actually it is showing if a more than b, then a is the value, and once it gets the value, it prints it out, right? In this case, a is 10, b is 20, right? A is 10 and b is 20, right? So what's happening here? So it checks a is more than b. No. So this is not getting executed. So the else part is getting executed, and what's the else part? It's b. So when the println function gets the value, that is b, it just simply executes. And what is the value of b? It's 20. That is what's happening. So I can write direct, like we can directly put in if else directly into the println function, and we can make it as short as possible. Like we were previously doing this using 5 lines of code. Now we are doing this in just 1 line of code. So this is how we can short things down, but it has some disadvantages as well. We'll definitely discuss that later. So let's go on, let's move on, and let's jump into another questions. That was the first question, which was the biggest number. But what if you get some question like this? You have 3 numbers. You have a, you have a b, you have a c now, and you have max. Like you have to find which is the biggest number. This out of the 3, which one is the biggest number? So that will be like, that would be put into this variable, right? So using if else, using just if else, I have already write the program, but again, just to showcase, let me open the program. Let me close from JShell. Okay. Let me open and show you. So I have already written a version of this, and it's opening some time. I'll show you the logic, don't worry about it. Not this one, not even this one. Where it was? Yeah, this one. So let's understand the logic, what we are trying to do. So the logic was that we were taking input. Let's understand what's going on. We have x, y, z and max number. Okay, we have the first number, second number, third number. So let's focus on the condition right now. Let's focus. We will be writing the same program in BlueJ, so no issues at all. So we were trying, if x is more than y, then we were checking if x is more than z, then definitely x is the biggest number. Otherwise, z is the biggest number. Otherwise, if this condition itself fails, that means y is bigger than x. So if y is bigger than x, we check if y is greater than z, then the max number becomes y. If not, then Z is the biggest number. So let's understand this in a bit more detail. What's going on over here? Okay, let's understand this in a more detail. So we have, let's say, A, B, and C. Okay, let's take an example so that you can understand this better. Let's say A is 10, B is 20, and C is 30. By looking at this, you can see that C is the greatest number. Now, how would we do this using just plain simple if else? So we would say, let's take yellow for this. If A more than B, if A is more than B, then I'm gonna say check, is A more than C? Is A more than C? If this is called nested conditions, right? Check if A more than C. If A is bigger than B, if A is bigger than B and A is also bigger than C, then A is the greatest number, right? That is my condition, is it? So I'll write max is equals to A, right? However, if A is bigger than B, but A is not greater than C. A is bigger than B, right? This is greater than this, but A is not greater than C. Not greater than C. What does mean? What that means? That means that C is the largest number. That's what it means. Otherwise, that means if A is not greater than B, then definitely B is greater than A, right? Either A is greater than B or B is greater than A, right? So if A is not greater than B, then obviously we go to the else condition, which basically means that B is greater than A, right? We could have done this else if B greater than A, but it's pointless. It's pointless because either this can be true or this can be true, or maybe this one, B greater than A. Either A can be bigger than B or B can be bigger than A, right? Only two conditions. So we're gonna say else. Now look at this very carefully. Okay. Else if B greater than C, like B is definitely greater than A, that's why this condition is happening. And also if B is also greater than C, like B is also greater than C, so what really happens? That means max is equals to B is the greatest number, right? Otherwise, who is the greatest number then? If B is not the greatest number, so then obviously max is equals to C, right? That's what happens. I'm not putting brackets, just taking a lot of space right now. Let me remove these things and let's take different cases to understand how we are actually solving the problem, right? All right. Oh, I forgot to add this one over here. C. Perfect. So let's check what's really happening. Okay. Let's say A is 10, B is 20, C is 30. Now let's go on with this. So is A more than B? A is 10, B is 20. Is A more than B? No. So the entire thing from starting from here to here, this will not be executed. Why? Because A is not more than B, so the entire thing will fail, right? So it will go to the next part, like the else part. What does else mean? Obviously, if A is not bigger than B, then B is definitely bigger than A, right? That's common math, right? 20 is bigger than 10 then. So else, if B greater than C, is B greater than C? No. No, B is not greater than C, so therefore this part will not be executed. It will go to the else part. And what does else part mean? If B is not greater than C, if B is not greater than C, then C is definitely bigger than B, because 30 is definitely bigger than 20, right? So the max number is C, which is the correct answer over here. You getting the point? This is the correct answer. 30 is the biggest number, right? So that's how it goes. That's how the example is. Now let me change some values and let's try once again. Let's try to understand what's going on. Let's say 150, maybe 30, maybe 10. Okay, let's see what now happens. So is A bigger than B? 150 bigger than B, which is 30? Yes. So the entire thing from here to here will execute. This will not execute. Why? Because this is already success, right? So it won't go to the else part. So this is getting executed. Okay, now check. Is A greater than C? Is A greater than C? 150 more than C, which is 10? Yes, obviously. So this part will also get executed. So what is the maximum number? The maximum number is A. This is the correct answer. So this is our logic. Right? Let's try with a different example now. Okay, let's say, okay, let's make B the bigger one this time. Let's say 230 and maybe 50, I guess. Now let's see what happens. Again, first case, is A more than B? Is A more than B? No, right? So the entire part will not be executed. It will go to the else part. This part will get executed, right? This will get executed. Now we check, is B more than C? Is B more than C? Yes, B is more than C. That means this part will get executed and this part will not be executed. Obviously B is more than C. This will definitely be executed. So what is the maximum number here? B is the correct answer. So that's how the logic goes. So now we can write the same thing using ternary operator as well. Although this will be a little bit different and kind of tricky to write, but we can obviously do that as well. Okay. All right. So what would be the ternary version of this thing? Let's understand now. Let's remove all these examples. Hope you've understood. Let's remove these things and we'll again come back and try with the same examples. Or maybe what we can do is we can take this and try this up in a different page altogether. Just copy this, go to a next page, paste it, make it an object. All right. I guess we can make it a little bit bigger, like this. Okay, fine. How would you do the ternary version of this? So the ternary version starts with a condition. What would be the condition? And obviously you first write the variable name, right? And then you do all the stuff. So first you write the variable name, which is max. Let's write with green in this case. So max is equals to, now you will say that what is the first condition here? The first condition is if A more than B. How do we write this? We say, let's write a different, A more than B. This is the condition. This is the first condition. Now what do you do? Now you do a question mark, right? If this is the case, yeah, all right. So if this is the case, then what's the next condition then? This is where the tricky part gets. This is the next condition. So we're not gonna do the colon part right now. Okay, let's keep it later on. Okay. So we're gonna say the next condition is this: A more than C. This is the next condition. If this is the case, by the way, if this is the case, so what you're gonna do? You're gonna say Oh, sorry. This is the inner one. Okay, this is the inner one. So I'm using the question mark once again. So every time you put a condition, it's basically nested if else. Okay. If this is the case, then you write A, or you write C, or I said or, like else you write C, and you put the entire thing into brackets. The every time you start a new condition, you put the entire thing into a bracket for your own understanding. This will work without even brackets, but this will actually this might cause some other issues, so that's why. And okay, this I might get a little bit more space. Let me just oops, yeah, perfect. Mm-hmm. Yeah, all right, back again. So yeah, this is the inner condition, and now I say else part, the outer else. I'm talking about the outer else. The outer else is else if B more than C. How do we write this? If B more than C, how do we write this? We say B more than C, and again we are starting a new condition, so put a bracket. B more than C. If B more than C, then max equals to B. So I'm going to put a question mark over here. Oh yeah, first let me close the bracket over here. Question mark over here. And what is the what will write? Max equals to B. If this is the condition, B more than C, B more than C, we're going to write B. Let's write B over here. We write B. Otherwise, that is the else part, we write C. Else C, different color of course, and then we can close it. We can close the entire bracket. So let's understand again what's going on, just to get a better sense of. Okay, let's see. So what's the first condition here? If A more than B, if A more than B, we are writing it right, and then we are going into the inner condition. If A more than C, if A more than C, what are we gonna do? Max equals to A, then write A. The else part C, then the, so basically this entire thing, I mean the entire inner part from here to here is basically from here to here. This is the inner part. Okay, then we are going to go to the else part, which is this one, else part. I'm going to say if B more than C, if B more than C, if B more than C. What are we going to write? We're going to say B. Else part, we're going to say C. So basically this entire thing is nothing but this part. So this is how you write nested if else within the ternary operator. Okay, so basically the entire thing from starting from here to here is the first part, and then the entire else part is basically from here to here. I mean, obviously this is the entire else part, right? No need to cover it twice, but yeah, this is the else part. What is the else part? Basically, there's no, in else obviously there is no condition, so there is no direct condition over here, but I am writing the nested condition over here. B more than C, yes, if that is the case, write B. If that is not the case, then write C. And that too, everything into the else part. So this is how you write ternary operators, and both really works, both actually works. So I'll show you the demo of ternary operator right now. Let me go back and let me show you. Alright, so let's open our favorite editor, of which is BlueJ. I have installed BlueJ. That's perfect. Great. Let's create a new project. New project. Test. Or maybe, yeah, let's keep test like that. So let's write a new class. Let's say the class name is maybe max of 3. Save it. Let's write our program. All right, so we are going to take input from the user and then we're going to check which number is the greatest one. Okay, so to take, yeah, first of all, just delete all these things. We don't need these things. Yeah, perfect. Not this. So the first things first, you need to import certain things. You can also delete these things, not really required. So anyway, to import, you need to import java.util star. Oops, dot star. Import it. Then obviously gonna make the main method public static void main string args, like the usual thing that you do. And after that you're gonna say scanner sc is equals to new scanner I'm gonna say system dot in. I'm gonna make the scanner object. I'll also write the comments just so you understand. Importing the scanner object. Actually, not the importing not the right word. Actually, creating the scanner object. This is the object where which like using which we will take the input. So we're gonna say int, let's say a is equals to, we're gonna take the input sc dot next line. Oh, not next line, next int. I'm gonna do that. Let's say first number, right? Always try to write comments, makes codes really clear. Sc dot next int, second number, I'm gonna say int c is equals to sc dot next int. I'm gonna say third number, and obviously using just this will just show you to enter the number, but it won't show up anything. So let's add a few more lines. Okay, system dot out dot print. Do not add ln. If you add ln, something else will happen. I'll show you the edge case. I hope you already know, but anyway, I'll show you. First number you're gonna say, and I'm gonna just copy paste these things. See, second number, and I'm gonna do the same thing. Third number. So we're gonna take three inputs. Okay, we're gonna take 3 inputs. After that we'll start our logic using if else. Okay, I'm gonna say if our usual logic, if a is more than b, then I'm gonna say system out, no, not system, we need to have another number, max, right? Int max, and let max be 0. You might not, you can choose not to initialize anything. You can do that as well, no issues. So you can say over here max Oh, not really. You want to do another condition. If A is more than B and A is also more than C, that means who is the bigger number? Max is equals to A. A is the biggest number, right? And if that is not the case, then else you're gonna say max is equals to C. C. A is more than B. Okay. A is more than C, then definitely A is bigger. A is the biggest number. But if A is not more than C, but A is more than B, definitely C is the biggest number, right? Common sense. Else, it means that A is not more than B. So that means B is more than A, right? So I'm gonna say if, yeah, obviously B is more than A, and if B is also more than C, then definitely B is the biggest number. Otherwise, I'm doing a lot of typo right now. Otherwise, biggest number is the C. Is C. Why? Because B is definitely more than A, but B is not more than C, so C is definitely the biggest number. And we're gonna print it, I guess. System dot out dot println. We're gonna say max. We are just doing concatenation. Is, or we add a space, is the biggest number. And let's compile this. Oops, I missed a semicolon. Yeah, let's compile this and let's see what really happens. Compile, class compile, no syntax error. So we can, first we need to stop this one. Perfect. We can now run this actually. Run. So it is asking first number. Let's say I'm giving first number as 45. Let's say I'm giving the second number as 67, and I'm giving the third number as 81. So it is showing up 81 is the biggest number. 81 is the biggest number, right? Perfect. Perfect. So it is working well. So as I was saying, that what happens if you instead use maybe this. What happens if you just say ln print ln and print ln, not this one, print ln. What happens if you do this? If you compile this, no syntax, there is no syntactical error, that's perfectly fine. But if you try to run this now, do this, run. So it will be asking the same thing. First number I'll be entering, let's say 90. But do you see the difference? First time when I was just using print, only print, I was entering the number, it was right beside of it. But now when I'm entering the number, it is down below it. That is why you should not use print ln while taking input. It's not the right way, you can do that, but it will just look ugly. That's why 30, 90 is the biggest number. It is working just fine. The problem is that if you were using only print, it was coming right beside it, but using println it will come down below it. So that is how println will work. So that's why when taking input, don't try to use println, try to use print only, and while outputting things, then try to use println. Otherwise this will come over here. If you just use print, it will come over here. Using println, it will go to the next line. So that's a good practice. So yeah, so basically that's how it is. Let me go back to my code. Let me remove all the print lns, right? Looks ugly. Anyway, save it. So what if I can do the entire thing in just a single, maybe 2 lines? Okay, maybe let's take 2 lines. Let's comment these things out, select everything and comment it out. Maybe no. Okay, cool. Okay, so I guess I need to comment it out manually. For multi-line comments, use this type type a slash, and type a star. Entire thing will be commented, so this will not execute up to this point. Type a star and type this. Okay, so this entire thing will be commented out, so this thing will not execute now. So it is basically like deleting it. So you can comment it out like this, star star. The basic thing is that you put a slash, then star, then write whatever you want to write for, you know. Oops, it is doing automatically for me. Anyways, not you might not put star in every line, but anyway, after anything you do, just type a star and hit this, and this will be committed. So basically this does not have any value, so I just commit it out. Okay, you can do it, or you can simply delete it as well. Anyway, so as I was saying, I can say max is equals to, what is the first condition? A more than B. A more than B. If A more than B, how do you write if? Using question mark. If A more than B, then there is another if. If A more than C. If A more than C, then what do you do? If A more than C, then you say max is equals to A. So you write just A. Okay. And okay, let's put space. If that is not the case, then you write C. That is the else part, you write C. Great. So the inner condition is done. This is the inner condition. If the entire block does not match, then you're going to say, what is the else part now? This is the else part now. So in else part, we have another if B more than C. B more than C. If, then we're going to type in B. Otherwise, C. This is our else part. And we are basically done. Done. Perfect. So now this is doing the exact same thing. Let me try it out. Compile this. Oops, there is a, oh, I forgot semicolon. Okay, anyway, I'll put it semicolon. Okay, now compile it again. Class compiled, no issues. Run this, right click, run this. Okay, it is asking for the first number. Let's say 23, 22, 21. 21 is 23 is the biggest number. Perfect. So it is working perfectly fine, right? Great. So let's try this once again. What about can I do this without max? Yes, I can just remove the variable from here. Okay, let's comment it. If there's a single line comment, you can just type 2/ and it will comment it. So if I want to do this, you know what I'll do? Let it be here. I'll just remove max. Okay, I'll just remove max and I'll copy this entire thing, because max is basically this, right? So I'll just copy this and just paste it over here. This should work. So basically I'm just putting whatever there already was into max directly into here without using max. And let's compile this and test it out. So again, first number 45, second number 56, third number 72. 72 is the biggest number. So from 6-7 lines to all the way to just a single line. So that's the power of using ternary operators. But the problem with ternary operators is it looks kind of complex. This is kind of complex code. There are chances of doing some error. So that's why if it's kind of lengthy code, there's a lot of if else, there's a lot of nested if else, do this instead. This might take a little bit more time, but at least your code will be correct. And obviously you will get marks if it is correct. Moreover, during the exams, it's best not to use ternary operator unless and until asked to use ternary operator. So that's why try using the if else only. But yeah, there are some questions, for example, find the maximum of 3, find this, find that, where they will specifically say to use the ternary operator. So do practice this on your own. Okay, this is how you do it. Perfect. Let's go to the next code, which is finding leap year. Okay, now this is going to be a little bit more interesting than this. Now let's come how to find a leap year. Okay, leap year. So what is leap year? So basically, if there is a normal year, we have 365 days, right? 365 days. But when we have a leap year, we have 366 days. Hope I'm right. Just a minute. Yeah. So we're saying 366 days, and then we have a leap year, right? We have one extra days in February. That's how we have 366 days in a year. So this is for normal year, or you can say non leap year. So we have 365 days. For the leap year, we have 366 days. So how do we find out that, let's say I say 2020, is it a leap year or not? Let's say 1994, is it a leap year or not? Let's say 1960, is it a leap year or not? How do you find this? How you find this? So to find that only, we will write a program. So let's understand the algorithm first. We need to understand the algorithm first, okay? So basically I have already done the program once. Let me just show you, and we'll be doing the same thing basically. Not this one, this one, correct. So do you say this? Yeah. So basically this is the code that we will be writing, and this is the logic. So first of all, we'll check if the year is divisible by 4. If the year is if it is getting divisible by 4, we'll then check, is it a century year? Then we'll check, if it is a century year, is it getting divided by 4? Is it divisible by 400? If that is true, then yes, it is a leap year. If that is not true, then it is not a leap year. However, if it is getting divisible by 4 but it is not a century year, it is by default a leap year. And if none of the conditions matches, like it is not even getting divisible by 4 at all, then definitely it is not a leap year. Okay, so I'll just write it down for you to understand. Okay, so let's begin. So what's the first thing? We check if year is divisible by 4. This is the first condition. Right? Then you check if year is a century year. This is the second condition, like the second condition. What is a century year? Century years means 1600, 1500, 2000, 1900. You're getting, this is a century. 100 years completed. This is why it is called a century year. Like we have 0 zeros in the end, so that's century year. We can have say 1400, 1300. These are called century years. Okay, so we are checking them. If it is divisible by 4, we are checking, is it a century year? How do we check? We'll show on. Then we have the third condition. If it is a century year, if year is divisible by 4, by 400, if it is a century year and it is also divisible by 400, this is the condition 3, then this is a leap year. Otherwise, else not a leap year. Okay, not a leap year, fine. However, if it is divisible by 4, it is not a century year. If it is not a century year, then this is also leap year. Getting my point? If year is divisible by 4 and it is not a century year, then it is by default a leap year. Okay, by default it is leap year. Great. However, if it is not even divisible by 4, like it is not even getting divisible by 4 at all, else then it is not a leap year. Okay, so this is these are our conditions. The first condition is the year divisible by 4. If this condition does not match, then doesn't matter whatever the year is, it is not a leap year. But if this condition matches, the next condition that we check is if the year is century year. If this is not matching, definitely this one is matching, but this one is not matching, then yes, it is a leap year. Okay, for example, I'll give you some example. Let me find on internet some leap year. Let me search examples of leap year. Yeah, so for example, 2028, is it divisible by 4? Let's divide it. Okay, 4 5 is 20, right? Yeah, perfectly. For yeah, it is getting divisible, right? It is divisible, so it is divisible, so this condition is true. But now, is this a century year? Obviously not. 2028 is not a century year, but it is getting divisible by 4. This is a leap year. Okay, I hope you can make sense of what I'm saying, right? So 2028 is divisible by 4, but it is not a century year, so this is a leap year. Fine. What is the next condition? The next condition is basically if this is a century year. Now that's another problem actually. This is a century year, it has to be divisible by 400. For example, let's say I have 1900. Now, is 1900 divisible by 4? Like, it is a century year, we can see it is a century year. So what would happen if I say 1900? So if I divide 1900 by 4, it is completely divisible. So like this condition is true. Is it a century year? Yes sir, this is a century year. But is it divisible by 400? Is it divisible by 400? So what do we get if I try to divide 1900 by 400? No, because if we try to divide it, it's not getting 0. Like, what I'm trying to do is this is divisible by 4. Whenever I say it is divisible, it means I am saying 1900 modulus something, let's say 400. If this is giving me a 0, then it is divisible. If it is not giving me 0, then it is not divisible. In this case, if I divide 1900 by 400, it is not going to give me 0, because if you divide it, the remainder would be 75 or something. You can try it out. Divide 1900 by 400 and get the remainder. Like, this modulus operator gets the remainder. Remainder is 75. This is not a leap year. So these are the only 3 conditions that you have to understand, right? So let's form the algorithm using just if else. If I am trying to get the if else part only, let me just remove all these things. Okay, let's try to form the if else only. Okay, if I just use if else, I'm gonna see if what is the first condition. Let's say if y is the year. Okay, if y modulus 4 equal 0. You know what I'm saying? If I divide y by 4 and the remainder is 0, that means it is divisible by 4. Then we check the next condition. What is the next condition? If y is a century year, how do you check if it is a century year? For example, 1800, you divide it by 100, what do you get? What is the remainder over here? You get 18 obviously, but what is the remainder? Remainder is 0. That means this is a century year. That's what I am saying. So if the remainder is 0, it means it is divisible. For example, 1100 divided by 100. Yeah. So if y mod 100, like for example 1100 by 100, so what do you get? 11. What is the remainder? Remainder is 0. That means it is divisible, right? So y mod 100, if that gives you 0, then it is divisible. What is the third condition? If this is a century year, then what do you divide? You try to divide it. If y mod 400 and this is divisible by 400, then it is a leap year. Else it is not a leap year. else, like for this, okay, if it is not essentially error, but however it is like if it is getting divided by 4 and the remainder is 0, it is divisible by 4, but it is not essentially error, that's perfectly fine. That's by default a leap year. You don't have to check anything else. There's a leap year, else there's a leap year, okay. But if it is divisible by 4, like if it is not at all divisible by 4 at all, it is not getting 0 as the remainder after dividing by 4, then it is not a leap year. So this is the condition that we're going to say, and we are going to use boolean values for this. So let's jump in and write the program in BlueJ. Cool. Let's go to BlueJ and let's write another class for this, leap year, I guess. Perfect. So again, delete all these things, you don't need anything. We'll import java.util.star everything. You don't need any of these things, just remove all the things and done. Oopsie. Yeah, public static void main string args. I'm gonna say obviously we're gonna create the scanner class right now. So scanner sc is equals to new scanner. I'm gonna say system dot in. Done. So creating scanner object. So you're gonna take the year as input, okay. So you're gonna say system.out.print println, oh not ln, you're taking input, so remember, don't use ln, it is not a good practice. So you're gonna say enter year. Do this. I'm gonna say some year, let's say int y is equals to or let it or be it year only, no issues at all. Int year is equals to sc dot next int. You're going to take the integer input year. Now you're going to start the if else, okay. And also you need a boolean thing, okay. If you need a boolean thing, let's say boolean is leap. We have a variable, okay, boolean is leap. So we're gonna say if, what was the first condition? If the year is getting divided by 4, it is divisible by 4 basically, then definitely you're gonna say, oh, you're not gonna say anything basically, you're going to start another check. If year, so first check if year is divisible by 4, okay. I'm gonna say if year mod 100 equal 0. It's looking kind of dirty. Yeah, I guess so. Oh, I guess previously it was good. Yeah, I think I should remove the spaces. Anyway, so the next condition is, or let me write the condition over here. Check if the year is a century year that is divisible by 100. If that is also the case, then check year mod 400. Now again, what is the condition here? Check if the century year divisible by 400. This is the last condition, okay. If that is the case, I'm gonna say is leap is equals to true. So basically, if that is the case, then the leap thing, I mean this boolean variable is true. Okay, we you just set it right now, okay. So this if is closed. What about the previous if else? Like for this if, so you're gonna say over here, if year divisible by 4 but not a century year, that is divisible by 100, then oh oops, not this one actually. I need to, oh sorry, actually let me just remove this thing. I need to write this only first. So if else, so we're gonna say this if century year is not divisible by 400, if that is not the case, is leap equals to false. Okay, if century year is not divisible by 400, it is false. Else yeah, if year, I'm writing actually wrong over here, let me check. Oh, my bad. Perfect. I forgot to close the main method and all these things. Yeah, right. Now things are kind of okay. All right. So I was writing my code. Let me write. Yeah. Let me get started again. So else. So what would be the case? If year is divisible by 4, but not a century year, then you're gonna say is leap is equals to true. Am I missing something? Here is the A, by the way. I don't know why it's happening. Oh, okay. Just need another bracket over here. I needed another bracket. After this thing, I need a bracket over here. Yeah, perfect. Always look out for the brackets. Sometimes you mess it up. I totally understand. Java is all about brackets and everything. So you have to be careful. Anyways, yeah. And finally, if that is not the case, the entire if thing is failing, then you have to say else is leap equals to false, and you're done. So basically you're gonna again comment if year is not divisible by 4, then it is false. Okay. So again, just, am I missing something? Oh, there is an extra bracket. Okay, cool. Anyways, I was saying check few things. Okay, if year is divisible by 4, then only things goes. If that is not the case, I mean if from here to here The first condition is year is divisible by 4. If this is not the case, then it is by default it is false. Okay, but if this is true, if year is divisible by 4, now check if it is divisible by 100. Check if it is a century year. If it is a century year, only then you will go. If it is divisible by 4 but it is not a century year, it is not a century year, then by default it is true. Then it is true. Like it is divisible by 4 but it is not getting divisible by 100, so it is true, correct. But if it is also divisible by 100, now check if it is divisible by 400. If that is true, then it is a leap year. If it is divisible by 100, it is divisible by 4 but it is not getting divided by 400, then it is not a leap year. So based on that, you will write another if else basically over here. If I'm gonna say if is leap equal true, I'm gonna say system dot out dot println year given year is a leap year, else it is not a leap year. Simple. System dot out dot println given year is not a leap year. Perfect. Let's compile this. No errors. All right, let's run this one. Leap year. Okay, so it is asking year, let's say 2024. Given year is a leap year. Okay, great, it is working. Great, amazing stuff. Let's run this once again. Let's see this works properly. Let's say 1900. Given year is not a leap year. Perfect. Okay, great. So it is working. What else can we do? Maybe we can modify a little bit over here. Given, instead of given, if we just display the year basically, so year plus, or do the same thing over here. Year. This looks nice. Now the another thing is that you don't have to really do this. I mean, is sleep equal true? You don't need to do this, because if it is true, like let's say this is the condition, if it is already true, you don't have to check, it will automatically execute. So if is leap, it is basically the same as saying this thing, but you don't need to type it down, it will happen automatically. If it is true, only then it will execute. If it is false, obviously this will not execute, so it's like kind of redundant. Don't write. If you are using a boolean variable, whether it's true or false, something like that, you don't need to write is leap equal true or is leap equal false. You don't need to do that. Just write if is leap. Okay. Also, yeah, I mean this is good. Let's save this. Compile. No errors. Run the same thing again. Oopsie. Run this. Okay, enter year, maybe 2012, I guess. 2012 is a leap year. Great, it's working correctly. Now the thing is, can you use ternary operator? Well, technically you can use ternary operator, so let's see that as well. Let me comment everything out. Okay, I'll just put a, let's try it out. Okay, I'll just try. So what is your core condition? Core condition is this thing only. Later, this is to just for printing, you don't need this, but this is the more important part. So let's try to figure this out. So what is the first condition over here? Check if year is divisible by 4. So I'm going to say year divisible by 4. Then, like, this is, if this is the case, Can I just do this? Yeah, perfect. So if this is the first condition, year divisible by 4 equal 0 equal 0, then you write the next condition, like the nested condition. And always for a nested condition, always it's the best option to actually use another bracket, just to be really sure that you are writing the nested condition. Inside the nested condition, you write the next condition, which is uh, year divided by 100 equal 0. Then you have another condition, year divided by 400 equal 0. For that, you have to type in another question mark, and there's another condition, right? So you're gonna do a nested function, nested again. We're gonna say year divided by 400 equal 0. If, oops, I guess I'm missing a bracket or two, I guess. Yeah, right. This is a nested condition, right? Yeah. That is the case, you're gonna say true, like it is getting divided by 4, it is getting divided by 100, it is getting divided by 400, then the condition is true. Otherwise, it is false. Okay, this is the inner condition from here to here. Okay, from here to here we have from here to here. Okay, now we're going to the outer condition, that is this one. If year divisible by 100, then only you go and do this. If it is not divisible by 100, that is the else part, then it is true, right? Then it is true, because if this is not true, what is the else part saying? If the year is divisible by 4 but not a century year, then it is true, so you write true. Then you go one step further as well, then you go to this thing, if year is divisible by 4, so this one. Where is the else part now? Over here, come to here and write else part. If this is not true, what is the else part saying? Else part is saying false. Say false. Perfect. And obviously, what's the variable here? It's is leap. I'm gonna say is leap equals to this, and type in semicolon. And this is the thing. You're done. You're basically done. This is your code. So all these things in just single line, and now you can do the same thing. Okay, you just copy this to this, and then you write it down over here. If isLeap, if like for example, if isLeap is true, then it will print. If it is not, then it will not print. Simple. Okay, just print it out. First compile and see if there are any errors. So there are no errors. Minimize it. Try it out. Enter the leap year. Oh, it is not asking. Okay, yeah, it is asking. Enter year. Enter year. Enter year. Maybe 2000. Maybe try something else. Maybe 1345, I guess. Okay, 1345 is not a leap year. Great, it is working fine. No issues. So let me open it again. So can we try to short it down even more? Can we short it down even more? Let me think. So easily, if we just remove this thing, we can type in this here, I guess. Like, okay, let me try this one as well. Let me short it down again. So I'm gonna say system.out.println, and within this I have to say if is leap question mark, then if it is true, right? Like, can I short this? I'm trying to short this one down. Okay, let's break it down slowly. Okay, then we're gonna say this thing over here. This is the value that we'll get. Otherwise the else part, we're gonna get this part. Okay, get this part. Try to put this in bracket just for your own clarification. Is this correct? Let me check. Let me just comment this one out. Oh, I missed. Yeah, now this is correct. Let me try to do this. Comment it down. Okay. Only 2 lines of code. Will this work? So if is leap, I mean, if this is true, basically the same thing. Basically the same thing. Then we're gonna do. Then what will be the value? Year plus the year concatenation is a leap year. So whatever the year that will be is a leap year. Else we'll get year is not a leap year. That will be the value. Let's try this one out and let's see if this on there is only 2 line of code. This one and this one. Let's compile this. Okay, no errors. Run this. Let's see. Enter year. Let's say 2014, I guess, maybe. Okay, let's see the future then. 3142. It is not a leap year. Okay, cool. So it is working. Wow, that's great. From so many lines of code to only 2 lines of code. Can I even short this down? Let's try this. So what is EaseLeap? EaseLeap is basically this thing right now. So what if I just comment this one out and copy the entire thing? Okay, copy the entire thing and do one thing. Remove this EaseLeap, put 2 brackets and paste the entire thing. This, okay, this is confusing, but yeah, this should work. Let's compile this. Class compile, no issues. So gonna write. So let's see if this is working, still working or not. Run this. Enter year. All right. Enter year. Guess 4042 is not a leap year. Okay, so it is working. So it is working. Great. So from so many lines of code, right? From so many lines of code we have written till now, we just need. Okay, this is definitely required for taking the input, but forget about this. The code is only of a single line if you can use ternary operator. This is how it looks like. But let me remind you very carefully, ternary operator is a shortcut and it is only meant to be used when you absolutely have to use it, because this will only produce more errors, more bugs. It is harder to understand. So try to avoid ternary operator, but do practice it. It might be coming in the exam or someone might ask you in interviews or anything. So yeah, it is a good idea to study this, but yeah, avoid it while writing actual code. So this is all about leap year, and we are done with the if-else programs and the problems. So hope you have understood, you have got a good understanding of this. But please try to practice this on your own. If you cannot do this, let me know. I'm here to help you out. But definitely do go through these, practice these as soon as possible. Yeah. So now we'll go to switch case and do our nitty-gritty programs, which is basically anyway, let me just write. Okay, the next 2 programs are going to be very easy. So we are going to use switch case to make a calculator. So we're going to say if someone gives a 1, you will do addition. If someone gives a 2, you will do subtraction. If like else if, obviously else if 3, you will do multiplication. Else if someone gives a 4, you will do division. How can you do this? Obviously there are 2 ways. Using if-else and switch case, we'll do both. Okay, we are basically making a calculator. So first things first, you will get 2 numbers. Okay, so there will be a number A and there will be a number B, and after that you will check, like you will also take operation. Take the operation. Okay, take the operation. The user might give in 1, so you will basically say if operation is 1, then plus. If operation equal to 2, then minus. If operation 3, then multiplication. If operation 4, then division. If all these fails, else I'll just say error, I guess. Error, and yeah, that's it. So how can we do this? How can we do this? Let's go back to our favorite editor and let's create another class for that. New class and type it calculator. Okay, again you're gonna take input, so remove everything over here. Import java.util.star, remove everything over here. Public static void main string args. I'm gonna say scanner sc is equals to sc, oops, new scanner system.in, create the object. You have integer a, you will take the number. Oh, first write it down. Oh, okay, let's do this. Int a is equals to sc dot next int, you will take the number. Do the same thing for b and c. Oh, not c, but for the operand, right? You have b and you have op, like operation. Okay, now I'm gonna say system system.out.print. I'm gonna say enter first number, and here you will say system.out.print, enter second number, and now I'm going to say system.out.println. I am using ln for a reason. I'm using ln for a reason. Or you can directly do this. Print enter operation. So you're gonna also show 1 for addition, 2 for, or maybe use shortcut for this. 1 is plus, 2 is minus, 3 is maybe multiplication, 4 is division, and you're done. Operation next int, and you're gonna do this. Yeah, cool. So either you're going to do enter 1 2 3 or 4, anything else you get an error. So how do you do this? Using if else. So if op equal 1, then you're gonna say system.out.println, maybe do this, a plus b, right? Gonna print it out. So addition, basically you're doing addition. Now give some else if op equal 2, you're gonna do system.out.println a minus b, right? And else if op equal 3, system.out.println, let's say a multiplied by b, else Oh, there's another one. Else if op equal 4, I'm gonna say system.out.println a by b, like this, and you are pretty much done. Anything else? System.println say error. Okay, that's it. Let's compile this and see if this works. Hopefully this will work. Oh, this is for plus, this is for minus, this is for multiplication, right? This is for division. 4 is for division, right? 4 is for division. This looks weird, but yeah, this is for division. Yeah, perfect. So anyways, let's compile this. As compiled, try to run this. Enter first number, let's say 10. Enter second number, let's say 20. Now it is showing what? Enter operation. 1 is plus, 2 is minus, 3 is. So let's say I say 3. I'm gonna get 200 by 10 multiplied by 2, or like 10 multiplied by 20 is 200, obviously. So this is working great, right? No issues in that. Perfect. So can you do this using switch case as well? Yeah, the same thing can be done using switch case as well. For that, let me just comment this one out. How to comment? /star. This is commented out. I'm gonna say switch. And what was the variable we were working on? So op, switch on op. I'm gonna say case 1. Okay, so basically gonna paste the same thing over here. Paste. Then you're gonna do break case 2. You know why break is used, right? Minus break case 3. A multiplied by b. Break case 4. A divided by b. Break default. There's the if, that is the else case, right? I'm gonna say error. Will it work in the same way? This looks nice, by the way. It will work in the same way. Compile, run. Enter first number, maybe 30. Second number 2. Let's divide it. What do you say? Divide? Yeah. 15. So 30 divided by 2 gives you 15. Yeah, perfect. 2 15 is 30. It's working correctly. So this is the third thing. You can create a calculator using both if else and switch case. It really depends on the question you get on the exam or in the interviews, etc. That's the first thing. So in that way, try this thing. You know, try to find maybe area and circumference of a circle. Just try doing that once. Pi r square, 2 pi r. Hope you know, right? Let's say if the user enters 1, we'll find the area. If the user enters 2, we'll find the circumference. You can do that as well. Okay. For what do you need? So the area formula is pi r square, and circumference is 2 pi r. So what do you need? You need the r, right? You need the r. Let's just do it using a using maybe switch case only. Let's try that also. Let's create another class, circle. Do that. and again import java.util.star, remove everything, public static void main string args, again scanner sc is equals to new scanner system.in, do the same thing, enter. Okay, system.out.println and type in enter radius. So radius can be in points as well, so try to use decimal, like try to use double in this case. Okay, so I'll be taking double is equals, let's say double r is equals to r for radius, right? R is equals to sc dot next double, when because you're taking a double number. Now I'm going to say system dot out dot println and enter operation. I'm going to say 1 for area, 2 for circumference, and that's it. You have another thing, say int operation is equals to sc dot next int. Perfect. So you're taking integer, perfectly fine, either one or two. So let's say switch operation or op, whatever, case 1, that is area, case 1 is area, right? It says system dot out dot println. So area is basically what, pi into r square, right? So you haven't learned the math library as of now, but you can actually use it. I'm showing you. Import java.math dot star. Okay, you do this. I'll show you this. I'll show you this in more detail when we are covering the math library. But for now, I'm gonna say pi multiply by, or maybe do this, better do or do this math. Perfect. See, math dot pi into math dot pow means power, radius power 2. You can do this like that, or you can just skip all this thing and can say 3.14 multiplied by r into r. You can do this as well, whatever you like. Pi is basically 3.14 and radius 2 times, basically square. You can do this as well. Let's cover this later on when we are actually learning the math library, so no need to do this. And then there's break, and then there's case 2. We system dot, what is case 2? Circumference, right? System dot out dot println, I say 2 pi r, right? What is circumference? 2 into 3.14 into r, and then break, and then default, not here, system out dot println, I'm gonna say error. Let's see if this compiles. Okay, this is compiled, no issues. So pi into r, basically pi r square, and 2 into pi into r, the circumference. So let's close this circle, run this, Okay, so it is asking, is it asking? Yeah, enter radius. Say radius is 23.45 centimeters. Enter the operation area or circumference. Let's say I enter area. So this is the area of the circle if the radius is 23.45. So it is working perfectly fine. You can check it out. I am using double for this. So these were some of the things you can do with if else and switch case. Try to practice this as much as you can. And there's also another, I'm giving some problems for that as well. Try to do this. Try use switch case and print. If case is 1, then go for January. If case is 2, go for February, and dot 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 dot. Case 12, go for December. Like print this. If case 1 January, case 2 February, case 3 March, till case 12 December, and then there will be a default case. This will be error, like this will print error. Okay, try to do this, or try doing this. Case 1 is equals to Monday, case 2 is equals to Tuesday, dot 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 dot. Case 7 will give you Sunday, and anything else that is a default case will give you error. Try to do this. Try to do some other geometric examples as well. Try to find the volume, try to find the area, try to find the perimeter, and all these things using switch case and if else. So that's all for the video. I know this is a long video, but this is actually going to help you a lot. So all the best. See you in the next lecture.